Everybody, in today's video, it's time to travel back in time because we're going to play a flight simulator that came out over 21 years ago. The Microsoft Flight Simulator 2004. A misleading title because it was actually released in July 2003. Which was so long ago, in fact, that I wasn't even conceived by that time. Nope, that was definitely pre-Swiss01. And it's interesting because this game still works on modern Windows 11. So it's time to find out, does it still hold up? Now, big question here is definitely how you acquire such an old relic of game. I mean, you can download it on Steam. Back in 2004, the idea of downloading a software from the internet like a video game or flight simulator would be mere fantasies. I mean, all those megabytes of downloading. No, you will have to go on eBay.com to try to find an old mysterious man trying to sell his old copy of the Microsoft Flight Sim 2004, which isn't a lot. You could also download it illegally from the internet, which you should definitely not do that, and I refuse any allegations against me having done that. No, you practically get 4 CDs and install the game using a very old mysterious installer, but then you have it, Flight Simulator 9. Why is it called that? Well, it's the 9th flight simulator that Microsoft came out with, and especially the 2004 changed the world. So let's go ahead and open it, and once again, yes, it does work. Now, here we go. We're already in. That didn't take a long time. Faster loading time than the new flight sim. Now, you're able to see that I've got a German copy. Obviously, because this is German, I can't even change the language, by the way. This is a German copy.
Erste Schritte mit John und Martin Luther King. Sie lernen Flight Simulator gerade erst kennen. Damit Sie Flight Simulator so umfassend wie möglich nutzen können, werden Sie von einer Crew von Luftfahrtexperten auf Ihren Einführungsflug vorbereitet.
So it's like a, a discovery flight, whatever the hell. There's news. Okay, that's what happens when you try to run the news. Script error. No, have I broken it? No! Get out! Alright.
Das Jahrhundert der Luftfahrt mit Lane Wallace.
Yes, a century of flight. I mean, in 1904, the Wright brothers took their first flight. So, that's very historical. I guess that's the kind of the special edition of this thing. Geez, this thing's gonna be 22 years old. Let's see how it is. Let's finally talk about aeroplanes. We've got the Cessna Skyhawk. In fact, we've got more airplane than that. We've got quite a few airplanes. For example, also a Boeing. Yes, the 737, the 747, and even the 777. A very modern airplane in 2004. It's funny, the 737-400 definitely flew around at that time because the next-gen 737s that we're flying today, the 800s, for example, didn't even exist. We've got American Pacific Airways, Landmark Airlines, Orbit. The thing is, with Microsoft, that hasn't changed still, is that they don't include deliveries from real airplanes.
Es dürfte kaum überraschen, dass es sich bei dem weltweit produktivsten Hersteller kommerzieller Luftfahrzeuge auch um den Hersteller der am weitesten verbreiteten Düsenflugzeuge handelt. Im Juni 1987 wurde die 737 mit der...
This doesn't fucking matter. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. For some reason, the cursor disappeared. That is a great bug right here. All right, so let's go ahead and select an airport. Maybe Seattle, Tacoma. That's probably a good idea. We've got weather. We can choose schönes Wetter. So let's go choose pretty weather. And of course, when we go on Anzeige, so the graphics options, let's put this all to extreme. All the extreme dicht. Make this all the best quality in the world. Let's do it. I mean, we've got, for 2004, we've got a NASA computer, really. So let's join in. Come on, let's do it. Flug starten. All right, and I messed up. I don't want to spawn in at night. I don't care about... The problem is you can't really do, changes during the flight at all. Not even, changes in control. We have to end the flight and then start all over again. Let's do TAC. And this actually kind of looks like the FSX in general. I mean, come on, this is from 2004, before I was born. And so it is interesting to see how, you can kind of tell my computer is kind of struggling. Why? Because this game's architecture was built for a single core CPU. I now have 1 million cores in my CPU, only one of which is used and it's very highly stressed. Do you know what I mean? That's interesting. So this is Seattle, Tacoma, where, I don't even know if this runway exists yet. I mean, I can name 1 million airports that didn't exist back in the day, and when you go right mouse cursor, you kind of pause your flight. Anyway, let's get into the cockpit now, which can look like this. Can look like this as well, and this is surely the interesting part. I mean, it looks like a 737 cockpit. It's just not very good. I just think it's funny how we have a single de-icing switch. We have a single pitot heat switch. That's quite random. And just an engine start. This is kind of like Roblox Flight Simulator level at this point. We've got an FMC. It's not usable. I guess for navigation, we have to use the electronic EFB, so the elektronisches knieboard, where we can use Funkverkehr, air traffic control, which doesn't work. Navigation log, I guess because we haven't, put in anything, just doesn't work. Here we have a reference stuff where okay, that's not very interesting. Let's go ahead and go full power in the 737. Come on, you can do it. Wow, the sound design isn't even that great. Worst thing is here, you can't really have a free look. You can't look around in the cockpit using the mouse. You have to assign it to a joystick. So that is good. I mean, at least the cockpit is live, so we can put the landing gear up. We probably shouldn't do that. All right, and now going full power. I don't know, something is wrong though. I think in some way the brakes are activated. It says down here, bremsen, which I don't know. I mean, how do I turn off the brakes? Honestly, this airplane is very slow. We're at 75 knots. Let's get the flaps out now. Come on, do it. Yes. And here is Orbit Airlines 737 taking off. Doesn't look very good. Come on. Stop meandering about. We want to now move up into the air. We're now at 100 knots. We're going to overrun here at Seattle-Tacoma. All right, come on. You should be able to do good airplane. Just work. All right, we're overrunning. Please don't crash. Please don't die. We're at 120 knots. We should be able to rotate now. Good thing is we just go through buildings, so we can just, extend our runway length, really. Just rotate. You're causing me trouble, 737. All right, but here we go. Now that's worked. Welcome to the skies of Seattle. Doesn't Seattle look great? Look, there's this 2004. And once again, you can really tell my computer is, low-key struggling. Got the landing gear up. Look at that landing gear knob. Yes, genuinely major problems. Now, if it weren't for the Space Needle over there, I wouldn't be able to tell that this is Seattle. I mean, I've been to Seattle. I mean, it looks quite similar, but they're missing definitely a few fentanyl people. Either way, something I can immediately tell is that the flight dynamics absolutely suck. Like, the way that this airplane moves in the air is absolutely unconvincing. But to be fair, this flight simulator was definitely not developed to calculate proper physics at all. Now, with all flight simulators, and we have to admit that, they only really become good once you start loading them up with add-ons. And I feel like the 2004 flight simulator was the first flight simulator to actually have add-ons, and the market is huge. I guess because it's so old, but nearly every plane you can think of is available and cross-compatible with the newer FSX. For example, this HD texture pack for 757 works with this flight sim. This was released in 2024. This is quite new. Who in their right mind would still develop things for a 21-year-old flight sim? But let's go ahead and spend some money. Let's buy what Captain Sim brought out probably 20 years ago, a 757. Yes! I'm installing this now from 2009. That was when the last update came out. I just think it's amazing how Windows still is able to support this in any way. Yes, check this out. Let's go ahead and install some scenery as well. How about Lukla? I hope this works. Go on. Okay, this is very German as well. Let's install it. Perfect. Go on. Move it. All right. And so we're done. And here is the Pratt & Whitney 757-200 with finally a real airline livery. Delta. That is genuinely old. I love that. Copyright 2009. And let's enter now. Lukla. There we go. Let's start this flight. Come on. Yes! That was very quick loading time, to be fair. Now look at this. We've got the Now look at this, we've got the 757 now loaded up. Aww. Alright, and so here we go. This finally looks quite alright with the add-on scenery. Can't believe this flight sim is older than I am. It doesn't look bad, especially running it at 1440p. Now let's get into the cockpit right now. And you see now why it's a shame that Captain Sim is so hated nowadays. Because their airplanes in the past were really loved. Look, this works. That's the evacuation. Sounds horrible. Look, some of the things work. Look, no, actually all buttons work. Okay, maybe not the circuit breakers, but this is quite a realistic airplane now. Look, this airplane isn't even aligned, although the engines are on, which is a weird configuration. And yes, the FMC works, and it is genuinely quite usable. Let's work on having this airplane aligned. So we're going to turn those buttons here to nav mode. However, I'm supposed to do that. Hello? So that's the left button. All right, align. Let's go to initialization, index, position, and just enter that in, execute, and that has just worked fine, and the engines are working, and they do work, yes. So come on, let's get going onto the runway here, runway 24, performance testing. Let's go ahead and release the brakes. Look, I mean, with extensive add-onage, this is more sophisticated than some flight sims nowadays. Fuck. Oh, sorry. All right, I've already messed up. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I've messed up. Luckily, we can use the slew mode. Oh, what the hell that just did? Oh, my. Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. I mean, taking off was absolutely a stupid idea here anyway. All right, so this is what regular FSX looks like. It looks kind of like, this looks sad. We've got barely any trees here. We've got barely any buildings. We do have a river, but obviously normal scenery is quite bad. But I mean, the cockpit quality is quite all right. But let's go ahead and take things a bit seriously now and maybe fly to another place. Maybe let's go ahead and fly into St. Barth, which is not... Come on, find TFFJ. Aha. And look, we can even do failures here. Triebwerk, probably won't be an engine fire, though. All right. I do appreciate the fast loading times. God, this looks bad. I guess that's the malady of this old flight simulator. You really needed add-ons to make it look remotely good. I mean, this is St. Barth. This is runway 10. There's supposed to be literally ocean here, but there is no ocean. This couldn't be further from St. Bartholomew. Like, if you were to show me this airport here, like a picture, I wouldn't be able to tell that it's literally St. Bartholomew. So that's kind of the problem here, and we're dying again, so that isn't really working. Sorry, fellas. Here we go. But at least we have some sort of good-looking landing gear here, and it comes up nicely. This is great. I think it's just interesting how this flight simulator does not suck too much. Look, we're now in New York. If it weren't for the Empire State Building, I wouldn't be able to tell. And this is the default 747, which looks horrible. Jeez. I don't even want to look into the cockpit, which, I mean, that looks Roblox. I think we can just be grateful about, you know, the times that we live in. Okay, although 2004 was actually quite more chill. At least they seem to have less airplane accidents. But like, this makes me appreciate that, you know, we have the new flight simulator series, like X-Plane and Flight Simulator 2024. I mean, this is really not good. And by the way, none of these airplanes have proper performance. When you crash, it does this. Look at the water. I mean, this bridge looks kind of nice. And crash. So, Eddie, do I recommend that you play this flight sim? Definitely not. The whole hassle of having to install this thing, legally or illegally, it's not really worth it nowadays. For some reason, it's causing trouble with my joystick, so my flying is horrible. Although it is fun that it still works for, you know, modern machines. So, what do you think, guys? So much for watching this 21-year-old video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters. Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finer, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.